Morning, guys. Barking madly here. One of the reasons I peruse and follow as many of the prepper websites as I do, even though, as I mentioned before, I don't really consider myself a prepper, is just all the information you learn. Some of it has direct bearing on day-to-day stuff, some doesn't, but like yesterday I was watching AJ Prepper's videos on canning. Now, many moons ago, back when I was a kid, we actually did some canning of strawberries and some tomatoes. And we just used a big old open pot for it. Wasn't even aware that you really had to use a pressure cooker for some of them. Who knew? But it's just, you know, it's useful because at some point I would like to can some chili I make. I like my chili. But never even realized that there were other things to it, you know. But, you know, also it's just kind of, they have to admit about it, pressure cookers, I'm surprised at the noise, that, you know, that little noise that they make. I figured that, given the fact that they're under such pressure inside there, I figured that they would have all done that little pop deal-y thing long before they, you know, pulled them out of the can, or the pan. Man, I'm tired today. I just couldn't sleep. Camera. I'm standing at the back door with my car keys, clicking the little clicker thing, and wondering why the door won't open. Realizing, no shit, it's got to use the lock, the key for it. What else? On the lines of learning new things. A buddy of mine at work, he's a prepper, but he doesn't know it. I've mentioned to him about it. Mentioned a lot of the shows. You know, he's definitely interested, definitely of the mindset, and practices that the whole lifestyle, but just isn't involved in the community of it all. But anyway, he mentioned a series of books called the Firefox books. Evidently back in the 20s or 30s, these guys got together and interviewed and worked with a lot of Appalachian folk and started putting together books and discussions, you know, how-tos on how they survive. I mean, it's nap of the earth living. I mean, they even discuss how to make your own niter, you know, your potassium nitrate, you know, what the proper ratio of urine to manure is and stuff like that. You know, I'll put a link to the website, but you can just Google it. I actually bought some of the books. They're not super expensive, but they're not super cheap either. But from what I understand, you can actually find most of the series available online in PDF. Don't know how what's the word? Legitimate they are, but since it seems like it's a really cool project, I wanted to make sure I supported them. Now, I know that there's all sorts of other books that are out there. What was it? Years ago, there was a book, Lucifer's Hammer. It's a science fiction book about what happens when an asteroid hits. I think the book was written like in the 70s, so people have been thinking about this shit for a long time. But anyways, one of the guys there, he had a whole series of books on how to do stuff. And, you know, so when the stuff hit the fan for him, he wrapped it all in Ziploc bags and into trash bags and dumped it down dumped all the books into a septic system, because there's no way he'd be able to carry all that information with him when he was trying to get out of Dodge. But anyway, he had a series of books, and I can't remember what it was. I'd actually looked it up, and it's a real series. But if you're interested in sci-fi, preppish stuff, it's very little of the sci-fi. It's mostly just about the humanity of it. Look up Lucifer's Hammer. And for the life of me, I can't think of the guy that wrote it. I'm thinking Larry Niven, but I don't think that's right. Anyway, okay, back to the meat and grist of this whole discussion. Mike, thanks for the update on that. And now for something completely different. Sorry about that, folks. When I was taping that this morning, the memory card got loaded up, so it just automatically stopped in the middle of it. What was I chatting about? Anyway, a couple of things. Lambdog, I'm going to be putting together a video to discuss your response video to a response video to somebody else, to Mud Creeper or something like that. I don't know what the name of the guy was. Anyway, but it's about the abortion and intellectual assholes. What else? Well, I guess now back onto the actual meat of this, which is kind of responding back to Mike on his windmills. First off, Mike, don't stop rambling like that. That's part of it, the whole damn thing. The whole reason I enjoy watching your videos is how you just kind of, you start here and then you just start rambling on off and way in the distance. It's kind of like watching a Kevin Smith movie, you know. Although I'm actually kind of participating in it. So like, and I mean, as I'm sure you know, anybody that's worth his toy TIE fighter knows Han shot first. But here's a question for you. Do you agree that the the rebels were liable of murder for killing all the folks that were working on the Death Star 2? Thoughts? Anyway, back even more on topic. As I mentioned, I ordered a bunch of parts to start working on my little, try to get you know, my cobbled together piece working. And quite honestly, after with this fan here, I think it might be the way to go a little further on, or actually your idea with using the tire is similar to what I was thinking. I was actually thinking maybe using a bicycle rim, something to think about there. Because you just replace some of the spokes, or you screw on the your little scoops or blades on the end of it. But anyway, but for doing the testing, your idea of using the hard drive I think is right on, because those magnets, I don't have them yet, that's the one thing I don't have. You know, they're these little disc-like things, and there's 3 orientations. You can have them, let's see, that disc, crap. Okay, there we go. You've got your platter here. The disc, your magnets can go on like this, where they're sitting flat on it. They can go up vertically, or they can go on the edge like this. So on 3 different axes. I don't know which one's going to be the most useful. Having this will be the easiest one for testing out this profile. I'm thinking about possibly getting a piece of wood or something like that so I can put it in edge on, and who knows, I'm actually thinking about using something like a plastic jar or something like that, screwing that down onto the center and then gluing it on the outside like that. So, you know, aluminum can or something like that. I'll think about it. A lid might be another way to do it. But anyway, thinking about that. And oh, I was thinking about, you know, talking about the torque and what all is necessary and how, you know, getting weird values for the everything. I think I mentioned in the one response that try making sure you have your voltmeter set for AC, because as the magnet passes in front of the coil, you know, you've got your magnet on your disc and you've got your coil like this. As it passes through, it's going to have positive voltage on one side as it goes towards it, and the negative voltage as it moves away, or vice versa, depending on the polarity and all that stuff. But so you could be just canceling yourself out, and that's why you might be getting more voltage on one, or seeing a lot more voltage for just one than you are with multiples. And on that note, I told you I was getting some rectifiers, and I'll put it once I get some. This is a rectifier. It takes AC voltage, which has a nice sine wave, and just makes it either all plus or all minus coming out of it. You just put on, and I think in this one, you put your AC voltage in on these corners, and then you get your DC voltage out there. And I'm going to put one of these for each coil, because I don't want to try to deal with all of them at different times. Anyway, back to my other little thing. For the betterment of humanity, I made a huge sacrifice here. So I was realizing, okay, you know, especially with your idea, you're trying to light up some LEDs now. Well, it just so happens I have a little electric, come on, you fucker, that you crank it and it lights up LEDs. You know, just one of those dynamo style, I think that's what they call them, dynamo style lights. Now, since I've torn this apart, it won't crank anymore. But it'll still crank, but it won't, you know, obviously can't light anything up. And so anyway, the way this one works is you crank it here, and it's got a gear train that goes, you know, from here to here to here, and then goes onto a circuit board with a little electric motor here, and you can see the electrical outlets here. It goes into a battery, and so on and so on. It is what it is, but what I wanted to show is just the kind of torque that this thing has to produce, or the speed, I should say, rather, that it has to produce to actually, nope, that's the wrong way. Anyway, I thought I had this thing all together, but anyway, for every revolution you crank here on this, you're getting about 100 revolutions here. I mean, this thing doesn't spin very, you know, I don't know if you can see it, it just spins easily, but this battery here only holds 3.5 volts. So if this thing's spinning once a second, so you're getting 60 RPM, and you're multiplying that by 100, so you're getting 6,000 RPM, and it's only producing 3 volts. Just something to think about. Yeah, it's a balancing act between the torque and the speed and how strong the magnets are, and it's a chocolate mess, as my one friend used to say. And I was actually kind of hoping I could get this thing to work, but you know what they say, the best plans and all that stuff, they don't work. Anyhow, yeah, I guess that's all I really needed to say to you, or all I had in mind, but crap. Anyhow, it is what it is, and it pretty much sucks. So, oh, there we go. Durr. Don't be stupid. Had a buddy of mine that said, don't get old and don't be stupid. Well, none out of 3 ain't bad, I guess. But, okay, well, fuck it. Just with only 2 gears here. Oh, that might be what. Yeah, this is why I'm sitting here still doing on all this other crap, is because I'm OCD about stuff. But let's see if you can see that. It doesn't hold together very well, but creeps up. But if you look at it, for every 1 revolution here, this little buddy is just hauling ass, and that one's actually turning something that's even smaller yet. So just to give you an idea that it really does take either a lot of speed or a lot of torque and strong magnets and stuff. So I have no clue whether this whole thing will work. It's still fun. And then to combine that, you know, the challenges that are just inherent with it. And so I bought these coils. The only problem is, I don't know if you can see it on there or not. Let's see. Probably not, but this coil, it's actually more of like a choke, like you'd see on your keyboard. This coil actually is it's just a solid wire that goes all the way through, and then the coil attaches here and attaches here, which just about worthless. So, but what I'm going to be doing is, let's see, cutting the wire off of right here, cutting the wire off of this side, using this as one lead, and then using this as the other lead. So it'll decouple it, but yeah, we'll see if it works. Would have been better to find it. Oh, last thing on this whole topic. I'll put the video link down below, but I ran across this one guy who took an alternator, which is not the best plan, or as a regular alternator is not the best thing to use, but he's replacing the internal coils and the commutator and all that stuff with 14 large magnets, permanent magnets. And you've got a really nice bearing, you've got nice housing and all that stuff. Looks like it should work. He's Russian and doesn't speak the best English, but he's got some good links there, so I'll post that link and stuff below it. It's interesting, and it's got some links for magnets if you want that. But anyhow, later, and sorry for the random rambling and all that other crap. So, oh well. Later.